I welcome you all to the sideline event organized by World Muslim Congress on enforced and involuntary disappearances. As the name enforced disappearances suggests, is the act of making someone disappear against his or her will. Often suddenly, therefore refers to the protests, arrest, detention, or abduction of persons, followed by refusal to acknowledge the fate of the person. The agents of the repressive states often perpetrate the crime, which with complete impunity gets rid of people that it considers nonsense. No arrest warrants, no charge, no prosecution outside protection of law. The victims find himself or herself in a situation of utter vulnerability and is especially at risk of being tortured or executed with complete impunity. Enforced disappearances is a serious violation of human rights. Systematically perpetrated against civilians, it's considered as crime against humanity. The International Convention for the Protection of All Persons from Enforced Disappearances 2010 compels states to fight enforced disappearances on their respective territories. In particular, it affirms the right of individuals to know the fate of their disappeared relatives and to obtain justice and reparation. But unfortunately, we see around the globe such crime against humanity is taking place despite having a regime of human rights systems like United Nations Declaration for Protection against All Persons from Enforced Disappearances, Inter-American Convention for Enforced Disappearances 1994, and we have some mechanisms that we can complain against these enforced disappearances, Working Group on Enforced Disappearances, UN Human Rights Committee, UN Committee on Enforced Disappearances, European Court for Human Rights, and alike. But we have seen so far, it has been difficult to know about the whereabouts of these disappeared persons. Today I have a panel with me. We'll discuss the legality, the legal aspects of this crime against humanity and some specific situations like Kashmir and Western Sahara. We have two panelists, one from Kashmir and one from Western Sahara, who will specifically speak on their experiences, and other speakers will speak on the legal issues and how the states and non-state actors do commit this crime with complete impunity, and there is no prosecution for that. My first speaker will be Advocate Prof.h.c. He is representative of the Kashmiri people, all parties. Hurriyat Conference, he is attorney at law. Mr. Prof.h.c., you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Wani, for organizing this event and to express the situation which is going on in the occupied Jammu and Kashmir. Thank you, distinguished members from Human Rights Fraternity, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. India, which claims to be one of the largest democracies in the world, has framed a couple of laws and to deceive the international community. These laws are very, very beautiful, but these laws are on the books. But when you see what is happening practically on the ground, that's vice versa. If you go through the Constitution of India, Article 21 of the Constitution of India, it says no person shall be deprived of his life or personal liberty except according to the procedure established by law. And wonderful lines written by Dr. Ambedkar, whose statue was destroyed and has been much humiliated by Indians later. And if we go Article 22(1) of the Constitution, when it refers to the persons who are detained or who are arrested or alleged for any offense or any crime. It says no person who is arrested shall be detained in custody without being informed as soon as may be of the grounds of such arrest, nor shall he be detained the right to consult and to be defended by a legal practitioner of his choice. Again, a wonderful lines. If we go the procedure which the police or the detaining authorities, which they are bound to follow, I will also quote these wonderful lines. Right to know the grounds of arrest. If we go through the Criminal Procedure Code, the procedure which deals with the detainees or arrested persons, they have been given rights by the Criminal Procedure Code, by Indian Criminal Procedure Code, and it reads, every police officer or other person arresting any person without a warrant shall forthwith communicate to him full particulars of his offense for which he is arrested or other grounds for such arrest. Then another few lines, person arrested not to be detained more than 24 hours. The constitutional and legal requirements to produce an arrested person before a judicial magistrate within 24 hours of an arrest must be observed. These are the lines which are in the Constitution, which are in the procedures, which laws they have been framed by the Indian Parliament, Indian legislature, and Disappearances has just discussed what international conventions and covenants are saying about the persons who are detained. But if we go to the state of Jammu and Kashmir, which is under occupation for the last 70 years, it has been occupied and by an engineered accession, and since then the repression is going on, and we have, till this date, we have more than 8,000 to 10,000 documented disappearances, the cases of disappearances. The people are being arrested under different draconian laws. We have a Public Safety Act, although it is for public safety, a very attractive word, but when the people are arrested, they are detained for 10 days, they are not being informed of the grounds for which they have been arrested, nor they are being produced for before any magistrate for any remand. So these 10 days they remain in their custody, nor their parents, nor their relatives are informed. This is the one form of disappearances which is going on in Jammu and Kashmir. And unfortunately, the disappearances cases, these cases have affected the society, Kashmiri society, by and large, socially, politically, economically. Among these 8,000 to 10,000 cases, which has resulted, we have 2,500 to 3,000 widows. Those are called half widows, because they do not know the whereabouts of their husbands who have been arrested, whether they are alive, whether they are dead, and it has caused a lot of social issues for those who have disappeared during this course of time. There is a general principle of law that no man should be condemned unheard, and no man can be judged in his own cause. Once the people are being arrested by these occupation forces in Jammu and Kashmir, there is no trial. A person, the detaining authority, becomes the judge in his own cause. He levels the allegations, he sits as a judge, he executes the person without giving him the chance of hearing. This is the legal system which is prevailing in Indian occupied Jammu and Kashmir. And when we are knowing the fact that a person is innocent until the guilt is proved. But in Jammu and Kashmir, every person is guilty, whether irrespective of his age, irrespective of his size, irrespective of his creed and color. So this is what the legal system is operating in Indian occupied Jammu and Kashmir. As I just told that it has multiple effects on the society in Jammu and Kashmir. It has affected socially, economically, as well as physically to the people, especially when we're talking of the half widows. They are being repeatedly asked by their children couple of questions where their parents, where their father is. When he goes for the school for the admission, the first question which is asked that about his parent, about his father, where he is. So the children of these disappeared persons are facing the many social issues in the society. So they have traumatized their families, and unfortunately they cannot even, these ladies whose husbands have been disappeared by the occupation forces cannot even inherit the property. Because if we go through under the Islamic jurisprudence, a widow with a child gets 1/8 of her husband's property. A widow without children gets 1/4. A half widow till her husband is declared dead gets nothing. This is the law. I'm not talking how. This is not my observation. This is the law what is prevailing, which is going in Indian occupied Jammu and Kashmir. And if a lady whose husband has been disappeared asks for the inheritance from the property, first of all, she has to go to the court and seek a declaration from the court that her husband is dead. And for that, he has to file a suit in the court of law. And for that, she has to make the party to the government who has abducted her husband. And at the same time, there is the Armed Forces Special Powers Act, which bars any prosecution or any kind of any case you cannot file against the armed forces. So they are hinging. These ladies have to live as a half widows till death, and this is the one aspect. And secondly, these ladies whose husbands have disappeared in this course of time, they are wandering from pillar to post, from one jail to another jail. Once they are being told that their husband is in a particular jail, they just start and go there, and when they don't find their husbands and their ones there, they come back, and they are, in this way, they are paying a huge economically, they suffer. And thirdly, physically, these women are traumatized. It has developed illness, and at the same time, they have been, it has accelerated, and their oldness, and they are getting older and older with every coming day because of this traumatization from the occupation forces. And another unfortunate thing is that there has been no authority and no redressal. These women whose husbands have been disappeared, they have just asked the government that at least we should go for the DNA. Those people who disappeared from the Indian occupied Kashmir, they are buried in the mass graves. They are just asking for a DNA, at least to identify that in which grave a particular person has been buried, and they can at least conclude that the era in which the disappearance is the period, and they will just satisfy their families or go for their remarriage, or they will start their new life. But unfortunately, the government is not going for any kind of DNA till this day, despite that there have been reminders from different human rights organizations, from international community. Lastly, I will say that judiciary in Jammu and Kashmir has failed to deliver. There are hundreds and thousands of writs of habeas corpus pending before the courts, and the army and the armed forces do not cooperate with the courts. And unfortunately, we have there is an observation from the Chief Justice of Jammu Kashmir High Court, Geeta Mittal, who recently in an observation said that there are 4,000 cases of contempt against the Indian occupation forces, and the occupation forces do not cooperate with the courts, and these cases are the cases relating to the people who have been disappeared by the occupation forces. And lastly, I would like to say that we have approached to the international community a couple of times. We have been reminding international community and the High Commissioner for Human Rights and this August House in last June 2008, presented a report to the 2018 presented a report to this council, and you just see height of the things that the India, which claims that she should be made the member of the Security Council, and how he behaves in this Human Rights Council, and he has rejected that report and just said it is concocted, it is biased while sitting in this house. And the day before yesterday, on 8th, another report, follow-up report was presented by the High Commissioner, and they asked India for their opinion and sent to India and Pakistan that report. India rejected that report also. This is the situation which is going on about the human rights record and how India is behaving. And I request the friends sitting here that they should agitate it, and they should, it is a way to take this argument, by this argument that if India, while sitting in this council as a member of this council, is not ready to accept the recommendations of this council, I think it doesn't have any right to sit in this council. And lastly, in the last India has been asked a couple of times to sign the Convention Against Torture. India has been refusing, and India is not cooperating with any human rights mechanism. And I hope that the people sitting here will lobby against India and will help in mitigating the miseries of the people of India. Thank you.
Thank you, Advocate Prof.h.c, as he was discussing about how the judiciary is behaving in Kashmir, how the Indian government is behaving with the cases of enforced disappearances in Kashmir. As we all know, in 2008, EU Subcommittee on Human Rights, they had a hearing on these issues on mass graves and enforced disappearances in Kashmir, and offered Government of India that EU will provide them technical assistance and financial assistance to carry out the DNA of these mass graves, so that people can know about the fate of their loved ones. But unfortunately, Government of India rejected that. Government of India rejected the report of Special Report on extrajudicial execution. Government of India rejected the report of Special Rapporteur on human rights defenders, and most recently the report from the Office of the High Commissioner. 2 consecutive reports. Government of India says it is motivated, it is fallacious, it is malicious. It's like that. So with this, I will give floor to another Kashmiri fellow human rights defender from Kashmir, Mr. Hassan Bana. He will deal with a special case of enforced disappearance in Kashmir. Mr. Bana, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chair, and good noon to you all. First of all, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to OHCHR for releasing the second Kashmir report. They have already released a report last year, and this is their second report. This report certainly recognizes and unfolds the worst kind of human rights violations being perpetrated by Indian forces in occupied Jammu and Kashmir. As you know, Kashmir is currently the highest militarized zone in the world. The occupation troops present over there, they are involved in killing, maiming, humiliating and blinding Kashmiri people. They are also involved in other crimes such as rape and other type of sexual violence. However, the enforced disappearances, I think, is the most painful method they use against the population of Kashmir. Actually, this is a part of collective punishment which is being given to the people of Kashmir for demanding the right of self-determination, and this right was given to them by the UN Security Council. There are, countless cases of enforced disappearances, and these cases have given so many painful gifts for Kashmiri people. This enforced disappearances started in 1989, and it has given Kashmiri society half widows and half orphans. I do not have enough time to go into the details, but let me tell you briefly that half widows are those women whose husbands have been abducted, kidnapped, or picked up by the Indian forces, and nobody knows their whereabouts. Similarly, the half orphans are those children whose fathers have been picked up by the Indian army, and nobody knows where they are. You might have heard one more name, Parveena Anger. She is currently the chairperson of APDP, a well-known Kashmiri human rights defender who has recently won the REFTO award. Her own son was picked up by the Indian Army in 1990, and she is one of these disappeared persons. As I told you that there are countless cases, but let me tell you about one case. This is Khurshid Adil. Khurshid is from Sopore town. Sopore is a well-known town in North Kashmir. It is also known as Apple Town. If you happen to Kashmir, we can offer you the best quality of apples of the world over there. But unfortunately, there are tragic stories about Sopore, and one of them is Khurshid Adil's story. Khurshid Adil was 30 years old. He had a master's degree, and he was running a shop in Sopore town. He was picked up in daylight by the CRPF, Central Reserve Police Force of India, from his shop, and now nobody knows where he is. It was September 25, 1990. And if you see the picture on the horse, this is Khurshid Adil. And this is the second picture of Khurshid Adil. Please go to third one. Yeah. This is third, and this is fourth, and now this one is the last. This one. Yeah. This one is the last picture of Khurshid Adil available to us. And this is the father of Khurshid, the victim's father, Mr. Wali Adil Saab. If you can look on his face, into his eyes, he is still waiting with open eyes for his disappeared son. This is the other picture of Mr. Wali Adil Saab, the father of the victim. And this picture, he has now almost been bedridden after going from pillar to post. And now let me show you one more thing. This is very important. This is actually a documental proof which was provided by the local Mohalla committee known as Awqaf Committee, who say that we have seen and we witnessed that Khurshid was picked up by the Indian Army and taken away from his shop. The other one is almost the similar document. This is from Traders Federation. He was the part of this Traders Federation, and similarly they say that he was picked up by the Indian Army. And the third one is also from the Traders Federation. But there is one very important point, that is, they have also mentioned, if you can see, their truck numbers, the vehicle numbers of Indian Army, in which Khurshid Adil was bundled and taken away. And the 11th paper, this is the FIR. This FIR is the first information report which was lodged by the family in a local police station. But as you know, there is no justice in Kashmir, so they don't want to probe it. Quickly, the other one. These are the political leaders of Kashmir, the pro-freedom political leaders. And on your extreme left, the man with white beard is the brother of the victim, Musaddiq Adil, a well-known political leader of occupied Jammu and Kashmir. And this, I think, was the only sin of the victim. You know, he was the younger brother of Mr. Musaddiq Adil, and Musaddiq Adil was punished by killing or by subjecting to his brother to disappear, to subjecting him to disappeared person. I think the time is running very short, and let us pray for all those victims. Let us wish and let us pray for their safe return. I thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hassan Bana. You gave a wonderful account of how Khurshid was taken away from his womb and justified from different groups, from traders, from the Awqaf and by FIR, that he was really taken by the Indian Army, and then he did not return. These men has disappeared since then. Now, Khurshid is not a singular case in Kashmir, as my other fellow said, that from 8 to 10,000 cases of enforced disappearances are there, and recent one, which I would like to discuss with you, which for the first time when Government of India came under attack from the working group on enforced disappearances. It was Manzoor Ahmad Khan from Lola Kupwara, and his case was referred to the working group, and there was countless evidence about that, because one of his colleagues, he was released after torture, and what the Government of India did at the end of the day, they did not recognize that Manzoor was disappeared, Manzoor was killed in custody. What they did, they pressurized their family and offered them some compensation, but not as ex gratia, but as a compensation, not recognizing that Manzoor was killed, only telling them, shut your mouth, don't go to the courts, don't go to the UN, don't allow people to speak for Manzoor in UN, we will give you money. And this is the height of things, how the Indian government and its agencies are doing in Kashmir. So one of the guys whom I know fully was Humayun Azad. He was picked before me by the BSF, and thereafter he was disappeared. So I searched for him for 5 years in Kashmir, but could not find him. The BSF, after taking him away, for a few days said he is with us, but then denied that he is not with us. So he also disappeared. There are countless cases of that. I will give the floor to Mr. Mohammed Shukru Guzail. He is well known in this human rights systems here. He will deal with the legal aspects and non-state actors, how they do this crime against humanity. Mr. Guzail, you have the floor.
Chairman, President, many thanks. Thank you very much for everybody, and I will try to speak very short, because we have addressed the Sahara issue, we said an important issue. I mean, what I would like to say is a black hole in the UN system now, but this is something we are happy newly codified. I mean, forced disappearances are a customary international law as a criminalization, but newly codified. And what I'm trying to say is we are here for the victim-based approach, and we are all here for against impunity. And why we are here for against impunity is to prevent the reoccurrence of the crimes in different ways. And this convention for the International Convention for the Protection of All Persons from Enforced Disappearances has a dual character: prevent occurrence of the crimes and allow for the investigation and prosecution of those who perpetrated it. I mean, I would like to return back to the Sierra Leone peace agreement, where there was the amnesty articles, and by the UN Security Council resolution 1315, these amnesty articles are not accepted because impunity is forbidden in the UN system. This is why we are here. We are here to protect right to life. And if we give tolerance for impunity, we cannot be here. And this is why enforced disappearances is in a way begin, but there are some missing points in the UN system about the non-state armed groups and their responsibilities of the human rights, international human rights. I mean, in the UN system is general international humanitarian law codified by the Geneva Conventions, and special positions for the non-state armed groups are codified. Other than 3 conventions, one of them is for the Convention for the Child, and one is the International Convention for Protection of All Persons for Enforced Disappearances, Article 3, codified the responsibility of non-state armed groups. But there is a lack in the system of the UN on the codification of international human rights law, and what we can do, because enforced disappearances are codified in the human rights issue. And when there is always a state of emergency or permanent state of emergency in the concept of non-state armed groups who occupied a territory, what is the position of them? I mean, many of the scholars do not want to take them as a state obligations, and we can have some reports, I mean, beginning from Sri Lanka problem for the LTT, and when they occupy Iraq, they said that they've got the same responsibility for the special rapporteur as the government of Sri Lanka for the human rights treaties. This is the important point, because we have got now a different kind of civil wars are going much more violent now. Now we have got the Syria conflict. We have got so many civil wars in Africa. And then on Libya, the special rapporteurs and the Committee of Inquiry stating the same thing. What are the responsibilities of non-state armed groups? In the territories, they have got the power and administrate. And when we have gone to the international humanitarian law, it is something different, because sometimes there are the missing points in the international humanitarian law. So this is a lack of point. This is why I would like to mention that now we should ask maybe a working group on the responsibility of non-state armed groups for the international human rights law within the UN system. And we must apply for this to prepare the future peace-building architecture in Libya, in Syria, because now, other than states, because in the past it's always said that from the past experience of Latin America, or part of South America, not Latin America, experiences, we say that it's the responsibility of states, and non-state armed groups do not enforce disappearances, they just kill. No, when they control the territory, other than killing, they make enforced disappearances as a method. And International Convention for Civil and Political Rights must be valid, and there can be no derogation. This is the General Comment number 29, or Kogan's preparatory norms of right to life, beginning freedom of expression, which can never be established in the past for the territories that were administered by non-state armed groups or non-state armed groups defined as designated as terrorists. But the important part is that which derogations can be made. And if we, from today, if we can codify the criminal side of non-state armed groups' administrative position, we can achieve the future peace-building process in Syria or today's problems in Libya. Now we have got 15 minutes left. We have begin 15 minutes left, and then we were 15 minutes late beginning. So I will stop this, but my last sentence will be this. We should ask a working group for the responsibility of the non-state armed groups on the international human rights treaties. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mehmet, for your contribution. It's very much that there should be accountability of non-state actors, but unless and until we see the states are made accountable for the crimes against humanity, how can we make the non-state actors accountable? It is the first responsibility of the states, the people sitting in room 20, that they should decide for their own accountability for the crimes they are committing against the humanity in their own states, or the states they occupy, the territories they occupy, or with the marginalized communities in their own states. So there should be accountability of all. Geneva Conventions are there for all of them, so we should abide by them. With this, I give floor to Maima Mohammed, human rights defender from Western Sahara, very good friend of ours. Ma'am, you have the floor.
Thank you very much for coming to listen to us. My name is Maima Mahmoud Najim Islam. I am a human rights defender from Western Sahara. I came here today to explain a little bit about the questions of the conflict of Western Sahara. I want to show you some videos while I'm speaking so you can have an idea how is the repression. Just to give you a small details, Western Sahara is a huge territory in the North Africa. As you see, we are very close to the Canary Islands, but unfortunately, it has been a long standing conflict there. In 1975, Western Sahara was province number 53 of Spain. We were Spanish citizens, we were speaking Spanish, we were having our ID, and UN at that time, under the resolution 1514, has called Spain as a colonial power to give the Sahrawi people the right to self-determination. Spain, they didn't answer to this claim of the UN, and they cut our territory between the two neighbors in the legal agreement called Agreement of Tripartite in Madrid. They give the north part to Morocco, they give the south part to Mauritania. Of course, my people at that time, we were very few. We were brutally occupied by the Moroccan forces from the north, from Mauritania, from the south. And the Morocco declared something called the Green March. During this Green March, for the Moroccans, something very good, something very beautiful. For us, it's a genocide. Because when they were trying to make this beautiful march, there were 25,000 soldiers killing and making a genocide against any Sahrawi. And sometimes they were just normal citizens. They were buried alive. They were just shot in a very cold way. They killed animals. They poisoned the places of water. And Morocco really wanted to disappear the Sahrawi people, as the kingdom of Hassan said, I will disappear these Bergers in 1 week. We are still resisting after this decision 45 years. This was 76. So we began a war. We obliged Mauritania to withdraw from the south, but Morocco has occupied the other part of our territory. So as you can see here, Morocco has built a wall. It's the second largest wall in the world. 2,700 kilometers. It's a huge, constructed by Moroccan army, in which they are occupying this part illegally. There is not a simple country in the world who recognizes the presence of Morocco there in this area. And we are, as Polisario, controlling this area. Mauritania has stopped the occupation, and now we have a peace agreement. And because of this brutal occupation that Morocco has made here, the majority of population has established here in Tindouf, Algeria, in the refugee camp. We are the oldest refugee camp after the Palestinians. The Palestinians, they have their own agency, UNRWA, and we, in the UNHCR, we are the oldest one. So just to show you a small pictures when I am speaking, during this conflict, the Sahrawi population has faced so many repression. We have had more than 4,000 disappeared people. 4,000 that has been disappeared between hours, days, weeks, months, or most of them, like 300, they were disappeared for 16 years. And Morocco has always decided that there is no people who are disappeared. And for this moment, some of these people has died. Morocco has recognized that there is 310 persons that they have been killed in the Moroccan jails. Morocco has recognized this. And now we are still looking for 400 disappears. Until today, the Sahrawi people are still looking for 400 persons who disappeared. I'm talking about persons who are looking for their fathers, mothers looking for their sons. And the Moroccan authority didn't give no answer to our claims. What I want to say to Mr. Mehmet, that the Polisario Front is the only movement of freedom that has signed the Convention of Geneva. We have been accepted by the depository state, which is Switzerland, and we have respected in the line the Convention of Geneva. We have respected the prisoners. We have given back to Morocco 3,000 prisoners. These prisoners that Morocco didn't want to accept. During 7 years, we were trying with the CICR, trying to tell to the Morocco to accept these prisoners, and Morocco didn't accept them until 7 years of negotiation. Can you imagine if you were a soldier, you were caught in war, and you are imprisoned in a movement of freedom like ours? We were trying to give them back to their territory, and their homeland didn't want them back. It was a terrible history for 3,500 Moroccan soldiers that have been spending with us in the desert 7 years waiting Moroccan authorities to accept them. And when they go back, they didn't give them no rights. They have been until today making protests in front of the parliament of Morocco, trying to have a better life. So just to give you an idea, until today, this day today, the Sahrawi people are still suffering from the repression and occupation of the Morocco to our land. My people are treated like this. These people, the only thing that they have done is try to demonstrate peacefully that they want a right to self-determination. Hey, international community, we are not asking you to give us something strange. We are asking you to give us a right to choose. Because my territory is listed in the territory of non-self-governing territories in the UN. It's concerned by the 4th committee. It's concerned by the resolution 1514. Why? We are the international community, the one who are there, they are the one who are avoiding us to have these rights. They are the one who are trying us to be silenced. We cannot be silenced under occupation. We cannot be silenced until the violation of human rights. And no one of this room can be silenced. So why, Mr. Mehmet, you are defending the state? Defend the one who are oppressed. Of course, we have signed the Convention of Geneva because we know the right of the people, of everybody to be respected. But why no one respects our rights? Why no one? For example, France. France is the country who really make our life the worst life because it's the one who was blocking any peace process in the Security Council. It's France. It's no one else. France, because France is the one who are defending the countries in Africa, and today they are plundering the resources of 15 or 14 countries in Africa, and no one says nothing about it. And you want people to be like this? Do you think that people are happy to die in the Mediterranean? They are there because they have problems in their land. These problems that have been created by the Europeans must be solved by the Europeans. And they create this situation and they want to silence our voice. This is unacceptable. And I hope that you guys be more attentive to the demand of the people who are demanding justice. Just justice. I want to finish there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ma'am, for your presentation. Of course, Rosario has signed the Geneva Conventions. This is the history. I like that. I would like to add when you said non-state actors, because in our Kashmir also we had some armed resistance against the Indian occupation, and our resistance leaders were the first who signed the anti-ban treaty with the UN. The anti-ban treaty, anti-mine and BT. Neither of the states did sign, but our resistance leaders, they did sign it. They said we will not use anti-land mines in Kashmir anywhere against the soldiers and all that. That's it. Because why this whole violence is happening? It's happening because the states, they don't do justice. They don't keep their promises. They don't abide by their international obligations. They don't respect the international treaties they have signed or international human rights laws they have framed. They don't respect. That's why there is conflict, and conflict begets conflict and gets violence. So with this, I will open the floor for the audience if there are small questions, because only we have 4 minutes. You will get. Yes, Sangesh.
Thank you all for your presentations. My question is, we all are fighting here for our rights, and when we are speaking here, when we are sitting here, our friends, our people are dying over there in our own places. When we are spending so much energy over here, the money, the resources of our people who are dying over there, who are suffering, are we getting, because you all are experienced speakers, and asking this question to you, are we getting results? And like, there are reports, there are people saying things, there are agreements, like in case of Western Sahara, we can see that treaties have been signed, but what is coming out? Because in a market economy, only market speaks. So states are respecting only the market forces.
Yes.
So America thinks that Indian elections were nice and beautiful, even though they have all the data, what happened in India. So that is the question, how we are making an effect. Thank you very much.
Yes, you.
Thank you. I want to ask Umayma about Ahmed Khalil Ahmed. He is despair in Polisario, and we don't have any information about him until now. And I want to ask you about the activities Sahrawi in Camp Stinduf, how influenced and disappeared by Polisario, because just the activities, the situation there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
First, Adar, look, it's true that we are coming here after spending a huge money, and people ask back home us what you are doing there. But there's no way out. We keep on telling people that the only way to resolve these conflicts is to the peaceful means. But unfortunately, some of the states do not respond, they do not act on. But if we will not come here, we will not say this, we will not keep on telling the people will forget about our conflicts, our history, all these international obligations. That's why we come here, we create awareness, we keep on knocking the doors, conscience of the people in room 20, and also the civil society we meet here. That's the only purpose we do, and that's we hope for the best. Maima, you will respond to our question.
Yes.
The question of what my colleague said. My colleague, she's paid by the Moroccan government, and she's there to show that that Moroccans are okay in Western Sahara. The question of Morocco and Western Sahara is occupation. It's illegal. It's illegal, and you have not right to discuss with that.
No. I am
This is the question.
Sahrawi. I defender.
No, you're not Sahara.
Okay,
You're not
thank you
Sahara.
I
all.
am defender Sahrawi.
Thank you all. With this, we come to the end of this meeting. Let's give floor to the others for waiting.
Yes.
You can remain outside. Thank you.
behavior.